Hi folks, Nick Shaheen here recapping the week ending 6/12. The week ended on a sour note. The broader indices closed red for the day on Friday. The only really good sign or decent sign is that the small caps actually outperformed the broader indices. And that's a big basket of stocks, and that's usually a good sign. So here are the indices. Everything is red. You can see the peppered green in the small caps. So yes, red happens. You can hardly find a green tick here on Friday, but the small caps actually outperformed. So let's look at the results for the whole week. I could have sworn this was a red candle just minutes ago. But anyway, apparently it's a green candle on the SPY. However, you can see lower highs and lower lows. It is a doji candle, so for the whole week they are undecided. This is 1 year worth of action with each candle is 1 week. And you can see we're starting to lose this rising wedge and we're headed south. I don't like that we can draw a line lower highs for the last 4 weeks. This is an indecisive candle, which is not surprising coming into next week, which is the expiration for the June calendar as far as options are concerned. And it's going to be a volatile week. More on that a little later. These are the Qs, which is the NASDAQ. By the way, this was the S&P we're talking about. NASDAQ, somewhat of a broadening pattern there, but for the last few weeks, we seem to be like stuck, right? So it works for us because we like to do iron condors. We sell spreads and we're pocketing money. 3 red weeks in a row. Not the same story here in the small caps. You can see we've had an ascending trend week after week after week. So we have had an outperformance for a while on the small caps. Now, 2 things can happen. Usually the small caps run first and fastest, up or down. And sometimes they say, come on, join me, talking to these other 2. And they hang and hang and hang. And then if these other 2 decide not to join, they say, forget it. I come down and join the red party too. So which is going to happen? Next week, it's a binary event, only split 2 ways, so it's 4 different outcomes, and I'll run through them. But so the what I'm watching is, first of all, I expect volatility next week, aside from the fact that we have headlines trading because of Greece, and actually now we start to think about Ukraine as well. We have a couple of scheduled events, Eurozone, ECB, basically Fed, and the U.S. Fed. I think that Draghi starts the week off from that standpoint, and usually Draghi has a positive effect on markets. Maybe that'll happen as well. But the Fed event on Wednesday for the U.S. it will be a market mover for sure. Okay, now they can do 3 things there. 1, we all know, and I put no in quotes, that no June hike, right? So this is the consensus. So if she hikes in June, which is a long, long, long shot, we're going to have a negative effect on the equity prices, that's for sure. And scenario number 2, the other extreme, if they hint at not even a September hike, we are likely to see a positive effect, what we call a rip in the markets. And these rips are shortable. They're relief pops that something bad did not happen. I tend to want to short them, but sometimes I give them a little more room than other times. So those were the 2 extremes. The third, which is the most likely, is they change nothing in the wording, and they basically leave us guessing. And this would be the smartest thing to do because it leaves the expectations diffused. So I believe that they're going to raise in December. You believe that they're going to be raising in September. Other person believes it's not until next year. It keeps us diffused, and guessing means to meander a little bit longer. There are those who are expecting, come on already, tell us so we can move on. I think those are wrong because it will have an effect on markets whether they think they can withstand it or not. Okay, so the things we're focusing on for the last 2 weeks, I'm going to push for the next week as well. Small caps, leadership, okay, it's green shoots. It's been outperforming. It's inches away from an all-time high revisit. Will they tire first or join the red party? 2, Apple, a market leader. It's missing. This week it failed again. This is 3 weeks in a row. Apple's red. In fact, Friday, Apple underperformed the markets and even twice underperformed Google. It did twice as bad as Google. So you can see it needs a leader, but it's coming to an area of support, so maybe it starts leading. Otherwise, we need other leaders to step up. Thirdly, rates, which I push, importance is probably at the top. Also, currencies, that's always a huge market mover in the sense where if currencies move big, other things have to happen, which in turn have an effect. So these are the top things I'm looking at. And some people are working the financials, but that's part of rates, because if rates go up, financials are going to rally. And I told you last week, if financials rally, it's going to be in negative markets. And guess what happened? They rallied. It was in negative markets. All right, so how do I trade things like that? Number one, I book profits. I've been shorting markets. This is the time to book some profits. Or if I don't want to let go of the profits, I balance them out with an opposing trade if it still fits my thesis. Number two, I add new shorter-term trades if I want to think that, okay, the meander is going to continue, more iron condors. As far as lottery tickets, I'm stopped doing a lot of lottery tickets. However, now I'm feeling compelled to, on a hunch, so small money down the drain, Twitter 40 next week. So let's see what happens. A debit call spread, maybe I'll spend a few bucks chasing Twitter 40. I didn't chase it last night when it was up 8% on the Costello leaving news. It closed, it actually went red. It closed barely up, so it's a disappointing move on Twitter. Those who chased it on Thursday night paid the price. Maybe, just maybe, the pin will work, and outside chance of hit 40 will get them the chance to get out of it. As far as warnings, globally, headlines still rule. By globally, I mean like as a global rule. The headlines are still in charge, so I leave room for error, and that's it. As far as questions, you can send them in. I'm quick with the reply, regardless of where we stand. If you would like to see the trends by the dailies, you can see that we are still stuck in this range right there, and maybe we'll be stuck forever, but not likely. The more stuck we are here, the less, we expect less, and then we're surprised when a small move happens. So we become used to the status quo, and when it changes a little bit, we become surprised, which amplifies the move and the actions we take based on that surprise. All right, next signing out.